Okay, so this morning I would like to guide you through the practice of equanimity. And equanimity actually is the base if we want to apply loving kindness to really each and every sentient being, then this is like the essence, right? So the Buddhist meditation on equanimity really teaches us a technique to eliminate bias and then expand our love and concern from family and friends and strangers and even enemies. It tames our fierce attachment to loved ones and our anger towards enemies. And for that, of course, it's very beneficial for a more stable, for a more happier mind. And of course, for a world we can then experience in a much more harmonious and equanimous way. And we can see this a little bit like an artist before he starts painting, also primes the canvas, and so it's everywhere equally, right? For the receptive, for all the colors. And this meditation on equanimity exactly does the same for the mind. It primes the mind so we can come closer to equalize feelings and respect for ourselves, for everyone. And so that, of course, we automatically will then become more happy, more harmonious, and more beneficial and effective human being. And yeah, because in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, Maha means great. And here in this tradition, we really keep putting the focus of the development of the really for all sentient beings, for the greatest amount of beings, all beings everywhere of any kind. We want to send loving kindness, for instance, or we want them to be free from suffering in all forms. But by habit, most of us, it's true, no? We see ourselves a little bit more important than anyone else. Our friends are a little bit more important than your friends because they are my friends. My town, my city, a little bit more important because it's mine, right? So in this meditation now, we try to work on that concept a little bit to give it some more balance and more healthier way. Yeah, because finally, if we really want to develop this big heart, this compassion, the great loving kindness, the great compassion, then it must include each and every sentient being, right? That everyone deserves happiness and no one wants to suffer. Okay, so I invite you now to find a stable position, ground your sit bones, elongate your spine. Roll the shoulders up and back, softening all the muscles in your face. And then invite a gentle smile into your heart, into your lips. So the body is now soft and relaxed. The mind slowly arrives. And all you have to do is to simply notice your breath. Just try now to stay with the breath. And if thoughts, feelings, perception arise, just let them naturally fade away on their own and don't give them too much attention. It's almost you allow your mind to become your breath. Because from a psychological perspective, everything is made of mind, right? All we have is our inner experience. And your breath is the mental reconstruction of the perception that your body delivers to your brain. And that we call then the breath. We forget most of the time how even this perception is of our own body, and it's a mental experience, isn't it? So stay with the breath there. Another 2 minutes. Calming the body, calming the mind. Every exhale, releasing. Every breath in, arriving in the present. Now from here we can also, including now from the beginning, that may this practice become most beneficial for ourselves, for the world around us, including as many sentient beings as possible. Now we're gonna start the practice of equanimity. And we're going to do so by a visualization. But if visualizations are not so easy for you, simply try to focus on the feelings in your chest area. Now I invite you to imagine that there are 3 spots for people in front of you. And now we're going to start to fill them in left to right. Now on the left side, picture a friend. Sometimes a partner is a little bit tricky because the feelings towards them are a bit more complex. They can be both friend and enemy. So now I really want you to find someone that if you hear this people or this person's name, if you think about this person, it really invokes feelings of affection in you. It can be a good close relative, a close friend, someone who really, when you hear this person's voice, when you hear this person's name, it makes your heart smile. So now picture this person in front of you on your left side. Someone who benefits you, who you have warm feelings. And then allow this natural feeling that you have towards your friend who you are picturing now on your left side. Just allow it to fill. Notice how you really, from the deepest desire, that you want them to be happy. And also how much happy this person makes you. And also notice how you have a kind of a clear belief that this person is my friend. Almost as it have been always like this. Okay, and then we allow this person to be there, and we are moving on to the spot in the center. Now in the middle, I want you to picture someone who you dislike. Someone like a little bit like an enemy. An enemy is someone who were unkind to you, who hurts you, who makes you angry, who doesn't give you what you want. Then, just for this meditation, allow this person to picture in front of you in the center. Hmm. Choose a modest enemy, maybe not the hardest enemy. As with everything in life, you start slowly and then building up after some time. Yeah. So, yeah, really someone who hurt you. You had like a discussion in this last day with who you got angry last time or who frustrated you. And allow feelings towards this person to arise, but try not to judge it. Then we are moving one step further in our visualization. Now on your right side, in front of you, now materialize a stranger. But choose a specific stranger. Now just someone maybe you passed this morning on the street, or someone you got your coffee this morning from. Yeah. With a stranger with a human body, and materialize them now sitting in front of you on your right side. And then also here, you find now someone with an idea, clearer idea of that person. Yeah. Now you might notice how feelings of indifference arise. You hardly notice them, do not care about them, since they do not benefit your life or no harm them. So this person has a little importance to your life, isn't it? So now when we look back now, when we're analyzing our feelings now, looking back on a friend or enemy, the stranger, then we can see that all the feelings towards them are based on the fact that what they do for us or what they doesn't do for us, isn't it? And for most of us, we see all of these people as completely fixed. There's a little sense that they will change from being a friend or from being an enemy or being a stranger. But now we're going to investigate further. Are these relationships so stable as we assuming them to be, as we feeling them to be? Now again, bring your attention to your friend, to your close one on your left side. Have you ever had a friendship that ended? Maybe even just with a few words. Can you imagine just one sentence that your friend before you that your friend could say to you to then make it out of the sudden your friend is becoming an enemy? Something like, I hate you, or if they criticize you very harshly. Or also like our close friends, they know all or things also that we are more those things where we most sensitive about. And if they want, they really know how to hurt us now. Now for a moment, see, imagining this happen with a friend now, in front of you. How feelings towards your friend would change. Imagine even continually, the person is your friend is hurting you verbally, mentally. So gradually, they would shift from the category of friend into an enemy, isn't it? Then you're shifting our focus and going further. And now I want you to focus back on the enemy, the center of you, the person you have difficulties with, your dislike. So have you ever had an enemy that turned into a friend in you? Maybe do you even remember how it happened? Was it something they said or they did? Maybe something small? Or maybe you became united through a greater common purpose? Now for your current enemy now, before you. Now imagine that something happened like that. Imagine that some common interest brings you out of the sudden together. Like being with an enemy colleague at work and someone attacks the office, or with a continuous neighbor, and then there is an earthquake. We work together like friends to protect each other, isn't it? Or you would. Or try to imagine that your enemy is saying just one kind word about you. How your heart would soften. Or if that doesn't register with you, or if the enemy is someone more distant you choose, think that what happened when if they apologize in a big way, when a politician you choose maybe would renounce all their prior beliefs and dedicate their life purpose in something that you believe in. And then imagine that this actually happened, that your enemy out of the sudden completely changes right now, and see how you're feeling towards this person also immediately transforms. Even about the person you most despise in this world. And now we are moving on how strangers can become friends or enemy in a little instant. Now turn your mind to the stranger on your right side. Yeah. And now imagine one act of kindness from them. Maybe if you imagine your barista at Starbucks. Now imagine them giving your drink for free. And all of the sudden you look at their name tag and remember their name, isn't? Right? You would start telling people, oh, I have a friend at Starbucks. Or imagine the opposite. Just one mean act, maybe just one dirty look. The person would become your enemy. You might even boycott the whole shop or even the whole brand and promise never to go there again. Now, events through the relationship can change so fast and so quickly between our friends or enemies, strangers. So we can also recall that how all our friends and enemies were once strangers to us. And here now I really invite you to imagine how you felt about them when you looked at their first one time. Even the face that you now treasure or despise the most. The first moment when you felt nothing towards them. The time before this person became your friend or your enemy. Because everyone was an enemy, was a stranger for us before. Now, if we reflect on that, we can see how fragile and changeable the relationships are. And that isn't a bad thing. It's also not a good thing. It is just a true thing. Right? Think how it is the nature of reality of relationship that they change as everything is impermanent. And that is the good news. Because of that, everything is possible. It's only your mind who keeps the idea of this unchanging friend or the unchanging enemy or the unchanging stranger. And then with this biased notion, this is what causes us so much pain and so much suffering. And this is so not in alignment with reality, right? Because no one is a solid friend or a solid enemy or a solid stranger. These relationships are changing, or keep on changing all day long. And also now we can step out and how others see our friend or enemy or strangers. Let's step out of this very self-centered. Now consider the two people on the more right side, your stranger and your enemy. And they each have people who love them more than anyone else, no? They also have a mother, a father. They likely also have maybe partners who devoted to them. They might have children who look up at them more than anyone else in the world. Children family members who fully, truly rely on them for their survival. And then also try to look at your friend, at your loved one, also has enemies, right? People who specifically dislike them, maybe their ex-lovers, their competitive colleagues, or maybe more regular enemies, people who just hate them for their belief or their way of living. Just as each of us has those we hate abstractly for their belief or for their way of life, no? And then there is also one more view, how the friend, enemy, strangers see themselves. Each of them actually just like you, no? They just want to be happy as much as we do. And they also just do not want to suffer exactly like we do, right? In this way, we are all equal. We all have the potential to fill our minds with love, with kindness. But with this biased judgment we set on people, that's very superficial. Because only based on that only, that's a very narrow, self-centered viewpoint. Because we have to work and realize that finally everyone deserves our love and our compassion. But before we can fully get there now, I guess after this contemplation, we can further and further understand and how important is this equalizing of feelings and acknowledging our shared rights and needs and pains and joys, and creates a more peaceful state of mind and a more powerful way of effectively engaging in the world. And yeah, so here's the question: could we hold this way of seeing the world in a more equal way for some more time? Could we remind ourselves when we now today going throughout our day that everyone is the same? So for today, yeah, now just take a few more moments here, reflect on all your experiences here in this last moments, minutes together. What does equanimity mean for you now after this experience? Hey, and then I invite you for just few more breaths. Come back here to the breath, into the present moment, into your physical body. Notice breath sensations. Then we will gently bring this beautiful practice together by take a moment here first, rejoice. Mentally clap on your shoulders, you get great. Thank yourself for doing this beautiful practice. And then let us dedicate out all positivity, all virtue, that may each and every sentient being be a benefactor of our practice this morning, dedicating out all into the world and beyond. Om Mani Padme Hum, may wisdom and compassion arise within us. Thank you so much for practicing with us. And I see you back on Monday morning. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Bye.